project, A Greater Cleveland, came from, it was a long time in development, really. And it really picked up steam during one of the speeches that Mayor Jackson gave during, it was the State of the City. He made a comment near the end of his speech where he said that Cleveland, after he had, kind of extolled the virtues of the city and how well things are going, that Cleveland won't really prosper until all of its people share in that prosperity, especially the children.
We decided it would be interesting to take that issue, lifting people en masse out of poverty, as something to champion.
From there, we ultimately came to the decision that we would try to work with the Boys and Girls Club of Cleveland, because they, perhaps better than any other organization, are embedded already in Cleveland neighborhoods through their different locations. When we first raised the issue with the parents, they were open, but they were skeptical. Would we really come and see them, in the evening? Would we really hang in there? Would we really care? Would we really want to know what their week was like?
The very first vignette that I told to kind of kick off the series was the story about the kitchen table of one of the moms that we were featuring, the first story that we called them the Corper family. And it was really the first thing I noticed about them when we arrived at their apartment in the King Kennedy public housing complex for the first time. You walk in and it strikes you that despite some of the conditions of the apartment that they lived in, which they kept very clean, they had this beautiful table that seated, 8 to 10 people, and had this like faux marble Lazy Susan in the middle. And it was just so lovely, and it really kind of stood out from the rest of the surroundings, the environment there. And it seemed that the mother felt like she needed to tell me where this table came from. And it turned out that her children had all independently told their pediatrician during their last visit that what they wanted more than anything was to be able to have more family meals with their mom. And up until that point, they had a table that only seated 4, and she had 4 children, so she would let them sit there and eat while she would eat over the sink or in front of the TV. She immediately went out and financed the table and had somebody co-sign for her. And it was such a powerful anecdote, and the way she told it in that first meeting. And so I knew that that had to be the first story we tell. And that hooked people on a level that I think they really felt her humanity.
Well, we had immediate feedback from people when our first stories ran, both in the comments and people writing us, and so we knew almost from the get-go that we had touched a nerve, at least.
For me, the journalistic work that cleveland.com accomplished with this series is really to help us go deeper into the community in their understanding of the effects of poverty in people's lives.
Everybody wants a quick fix. In lieu of that quick fix, what we can do as reporters is try and help people understand the day-to-day reality of living in Cleveland.
I feel the project was successful in closing the empathy gap, at least among those readers, kicking off a little broader conversation about it.
Yeah, I was kind of bowled over. Now, will we lift, children en masse out of poverty with this? Probably not, but we will certainly give a leg up to dozens, if not hundreds, of young people, which, and it's still growing. So who knows, a year from now I may sit here and say, wow, it's even bigger than I thought.